Imagine walking into a shop where the machines hum with precision, the air is thick with the scent of fresh. Let me do that again. See, this is why I record them and don't do them live. Imagine walking into a shop where the machines hum with precision, the air is thick with the scent of freshly ground carbide, and a team, once small and struggling, is now thriving, breaking records month after month. Now picture the leader behind it all, a problem solver, a trailblazer, and a master of her craft. She's not just making parts, she makes history. That's Stephanie Chrystal. Hello and welcome back to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Mayer. And if you're passionate about the people behind manufacturing, the real stories, the real journeys, then you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's episode, make sure to check us out at themanufacturingconnector.com. That's themfgconnector.com, where you can find past episodes, resources, and everything we're building to connect the manufacturing world. You can also find us over on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok. And you can follow along with our adventures out in the field, our visits to shops, events that we're at, and all of our podcasts and content that we create. And if you're looking for more, make sure you check out our other shows. Work But Make It Human. That's the show for leadership insights that challenge the status quo. And the Manufacturing Connector over on YouTube, where we talk solutions for the industry's biggest challenges. If you love problem solving, that's a show for you. Now, let's talk about today's guest. Stephanie Chrystal isn't just a machinist. She's a force of nature. As a geometric grinding specialist at Sandvik Coromant, she's transformed the Westminster, South Carolina facility by building a team that's tripled in size, pushed production beyond expectations, and her team has now set new performance records month after month. It's no surprise she's a winner of the 2024 ANCA Female Machinist Awards. But awards don't always tell the whole story. Stephanie's journey is about resilience, leadership, and the kind of grit that turns good machinists into great ones. Today, we're going to dive into how she got here, how she's changing the game for the next generation of machinists, and why leadership in manufacturing is about so much more than just making parts. Without further ado, Stephanie Chrystal, welcome to the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
I'm so excited for this. This has been a while in the making. I don't remember exactly when I got the press release about this, but as I was researching to do this recording, it had to have been back in like September or October or something like that, because this isn't news that's brand new out there that you have won this award, but our schedules finally aligned to make this happen. And so here we are, and we're going to talk a lot about the award a little bit, but we're really going to dive into a lot more about who you are as a human being, as a leader, as a machinist. So again, thanks for being here. Everybody listening, thanks for being here. This is going to be a really fun conversation. Stephanie, before we dive into your story, I ask all of my guests about culture and what does culture mean to each guest? And really not just in manufacturing, but in terms of your career, your teams, and the way you work. So what is culture to you?
Yeah, so definitely in the way that I work, it's we of course each individual has their responsibilities and everything going on, and like for me it's very much teamwork, and everybody has the role in to how manufacturing goes. And it's like, of course, you can have it down to your operators, and of course they're making the tools and understanding of the precision and everything and making sure we're following the print. And then we also have floor management that kind of manages in a sense of like, okay, you're really good with this one, you can be quick with this one, and just really everybody has the role on the team. And it's just almost simple as like with your hand. So you have like your operators and your management, upper management, your boss, and like everything in the production that puts the lights on in the facility. So everybody definitely has their part, and none of us can be able to do everything alone. So yeah, we all have a role in here. So
I love it. I love that. And I use I'm a big F1 racing fan. I use F1 pit stops as a concept a lot to I think really describe what you're talking about there, that teamwork, that everybody knows their role, they do their job exceptionally well, but at the same time they're not worried about the person next to them executing on their job. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, so yeah, everybody can rely on everybody to do the part in a sense, and like of course like um we would make some mistakes, and it doesn't really fall on one person either. Be like, okay, like, hey, I need a little help here, and we'll definitely like step up and try to help each other out, because at the end of the day it is a team, and
Yeah.
whatever we can do to get every single one of us at the end of the finish line, we'll definitely work together to get all of us at the end. So
Yeah, I love that. So now we're going to get into the fun part. We're going to talk about you, and that's fun for me. That's fun for the audience. It's not always fun for the guests to actually tell their stories, right? Because not everybody likes talking about them. But I'm going to ask you some questions about you. I want to know what led you to machining. Like, was this something that you always wanted to do, or did you find your way here unexpectedly in this nonlinear path that so many people take?
I kind of would say unexpectedly. I know, like going to school and high school and going to reaching your senior year, everybody's asking, "What do you want to do for a living?" and trying to figure out your path into college and what classes you're going to take and everything else. I've always been inspired by the engineering aspect of everything. I actually went to school a little bit and took pre-engineering. I never finished my degree,
Cool.
unfortunately, but it was definitely more of a passion to me. I'm very hands-on and like mechanical mind with everything, and I've grown up like tinkering with cars, and I actually worked in an auto shop for a little bit, and
Cool.
it's just, yeah, just the whole aspect of that is like it definitely catches my interest. So as to where it led me to where I'm at now, it was kind of by mistake. So currently I'm in South Carolina working for Sandvik Coromant, but I actually had moved from Washington State, and I was working for a different facility of Sandvik over there, and
Got it.
entirely different work over there. But it was I had some family that was over here, kind of led me back over here, and it was kind of just kind of looking through the list of jobs available, and I was like, you know what, let's get out of Washington, let's give this a shot. Checked out the facility, they hired me on. I was like, cool, and it just took off from there. So
That's awesome. How long have you been with Sandvik?
Sandvik as a whole, I've been with the company for almost 11 years now.
All right. I like that. I love
Mhm.
that. So as you're looking back on those early years, was there a moment that you like had that light bulb that you said, this is what I want to do. This is it.
Yeah, so it was definitely like moving down here. I had no idea what I was getting into, and it was before it was with titanium tubing, so I'm running from one end to the other with the facility. But here we're very much focused on a few machines and working with more geometry and manipulating all that into getting what we need according to our print. And it was a lot more hands-on and a lot more critical thinking and problem solving, and it won't be the same thing or same solution with the same problem the next day. Like, you have to try something completely different. So like definitely this is like more of my kind of work, because I like to stay active. I like to have, think on your feet with some stuff and everything. So yeah, doing the one thing every single day is just like, nah, I can't do it. But definitely, it keeps you on your toes for sure. So
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. And so was the work that you did at Sandvik in Washington, was that your first job post high school, post education? Was that like your first professional role? What, or was there something before that?
I would say more so of a serious professional role. Because at first I was kind of going from job to job. I worked at Best Buy for a little bit, and I actually had started working for Sandvik shortly after. And then it was kind of in and out in more of the machining, tooling world until this one had finally stuck.
Got it. Right on. And so walk us through that first moment that you walked into a shop. I mean, you used to tinker on cars, you're mechanically minded. Walking into that first machine shop, what did it feel like to you?
At first, it was a little overwhelming. The first facility over here, it was, God, I would have to say they probably had about like 35 machines, and like one, it was really clean. I was really impressed with how clean everything was, but it was a little overwhelming because I had no idea what they were doing in there. so, so I'm used to cranes. It's like, okay, that lifts things, and like, all right, this button pushes the machine to go turn on and push things through. But this one, you're definitely more involved in, like, you see the people in the machines, and like measuring the tools and see what's really going on, and really find the fine detail as to what's going on in these machines and our tools.
Yeah. So walk us through now. You're in Westminster, South Carolina, at the Sandvik facility there. Um, what happened to propel you into the leadership role that you are now in?
Yeah. So COVID, unfortunately, a lot of people were furloughed or let go and everything. And we actually had two facilities that were within a couple of hours of each other. So we had what used to be Precorp, that Sandvik had bought out, I believe, in 2018. Don't quote
Okay.
me on that. I'm not entirely sure, but it was as of close to 2020. So we were starting to adapt to how Sandvik would like for us to run, and like trying to keep up with orders and everything. And that was the larger facility. So after COVID, they decided to consolidate and bring us from Greer, South Carolina to Westminster, South Carolina, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours away.
Got it.
So yeah, we had a few people selected to follow the company over to Westminster, and we were skeleton crew, and we're just trying to squeeze as many machines as we can in the open area they had available for us to move into. So so we had management figured out, and we probably had like about four operators that were going to be running on the floor. So we went from 30 some machines down to 11.
Got it.
So yeah, so the other two operators, that they've been doing this for 20 plus years and really know what they're doing, and asking them questions, bugging them, pestering, be like, hey, this doesn't look right. How should we approach this and everything else? So definitely with the other two gentlemen, they definitely helped me out with leading me into the training aspect of everything. So yeah, we definitely had three operators that were running the floor 3 months later, and then we ended up hiring another one. And so we went from three operators to now we have, I want to say, about 10 of us on there at least, running these 10 machines or
Wow.
11 machines. So it was very boom, 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 and just trying to get everybody up to par as to someone doing this 20 plus years to brand new, and expect them to be able to run machines while we're moving the next person in to get them training and everything. So it was a little stressful, but we definitely picked out some really good people, and I applaud my manager for hiring the right people for that too, because I mean, not everybody's fit to do this thing. I'm not fit to be sitting in an office either. So it's just
Yeah.
like definitely selection of people. There's a strategy with that too. So
Absolutely. I mean, machining, the craft that you do is so often all about that precision, um, where leadership is really unpredictable, right? And it takes a lot more balancing and understanding of human psyche and human dynamic, to be able to build that team and grow it, and have various different skill sets there at the same time. Um, so, what kind of challenges have you guys run into as you've been building this team?
yeah, so there's a lot of challenges as to, we have an inexperienced person and trying to learn the prints and different tool types. And like, we don't run the same thing every single day. We definitely have some that we probably have a little more complex that we probably see once or twice a year. So it's just more so having that communication with these new people, and breaking down as to what we're expecting and how to run things, and as to like the machine will allow you to run things too. So
Yeah,
definitely the challenges is, all right, yeah, we will have some slow spots and everything else, but like with production goes, not every single order is the same amount or the same type, and it is a little bit of organization and trying to almost puppet master everything to where we could get that consistent flow and meet our quota in on top of getting these orders out on time, and with
yeah,
such a small amount of people. So I mean, the challenges is like we definitely had a small crew in the beginning, and which I absolutely love. Our management is like, look, like we can ask for overtime. We're not going to force you. We understand you have a life outside of these four walls. So
That's
it's
awesome.
just trying to, yeah, it was definitely trying to not overwork ourselves either, and be able to allow that space to get some decent sleep and hit the reset button and then go back at it.
Yeah. So what are your interests outside of work? I mean, that work life balance is a big deal, and I don't think that we talk about it as a concept, right? It's a buzzword. It flies around LinkedIn, work life balance, blah blah blah. But I
Right.
don't know if we always ask people what those interests are. What is that life balance? What is Stephanie Chrystal? What do you like to do when you're not, forming metal and cutting metal?
Yeah. So anything outside, really, honestly. So I grew up with sports, and actually, kind of on my free time, I actually started coaching for softball and doing pitching and hitting lessons, and pretty much
Cool.
grew up with the sport. And that's like one of my passions is definitely getting myself involved in the outside sports and play a little bit of disc golf. And with nice weather like today, yeah, I'll definitely be outside.
Absolutely. And for all any of you who are watching this on YouTube, that's not like a fake background. That's actually where she is right now in South Carolina, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I live in Phoenix, and it's 56 degrees out right now. I'd need a sweatshirt if I was outside because that's cold for us Phoenicians. That looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
Um, Stephanie, talk to us. Let's talk a little bit about this award. Eh, the ANCA Female Machinist Award is a big deal. When you found out that you won, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
Honestly, it was kind of funny. So I had actually got a text message from my manager, and he's like, "Hey, like check this out." He actually sent the link from the Anka Instagram announcing the
Okay.
winners. At first, I thought they were just runner up, and my partner was sitting there. She goes, "No, honey, you won it." I was like, "What?" Reread it. I was like, oh, like, oh my god, I, like did a little happy dance. I was like, I couldn't even believe it because like I know like this is a global competition where women all over the world are filling out the same questionnaire, and a lot of extraordinary women doing fantastic things, and I'm like, I'm just sitting in the corner, with these machines, and I know some others are like going above and beyond, and they definitely need to be recognized too for their hard work and dedication to what they love to do.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I was definitely a little confused at first. I was like, oh, wait. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? But no, I mean, it's such an honor. It's such an honor to even be considered. And the fact that I had won it, I was just mind blown.
What made you what do you think made you stand out for this award? I mean, you touched on that, right? Where it's global, it's worldwide, and there are some really amazing runners up. What do you think made you stand out to rise to the top on this?
Right. I really think it's like with the leadership. And we had in conversations, it's like you are definitely not a person that would be me, myself, and I. You're definitely a team person, and you definitely do go above and beyond to make sure that the team is taken care of. But yeah, with the opportunity of moving to Westminster, it's just kind of absorbed the role. I never really asked for it, and nobody had really asked me to do this, and it's just like I see the things that needed to be done, and it was definitely more so wanting to help everybody else to get to where they need to be, or like I really don't like people seeing people struggle either.
Yeah.
So if I can help, I'll definitely step in and help.
Well, and to touch on that first point about the team, I'm going to share the story from when before we hit the record button here, Stephanie, and uh, just so everybody listening and watching understands, I read the intro that I write for all of my guests before we record, just because I had an instance in my first year where I did research on somebody, wrote a bio about the wrong person. I stole valor. So I very intentionally now read my guests their intro. And Stephanie, there's a lot in that intro. Go back and re-listen to it. But her biggest focus on that was that I didn't give her accolades for the astronomical growth that you have seen on your team. She wanted to make sure that the team was recognized, and I love that aspect from you, Stephanie. I think that I would agree if that was part of this process, I would agree that that probably shot you up to the top because that's a leadership skill we don't see too often. How did you develop that skill?
Um, it probably started with a young age and growing up with sports, and we definitely had the role in everything. And with softball, for example, that we were talking about earlier, everybody has a role, and we have our pitcher, of course, strikeouts and manages the amount of hits that's going on. The catcher be able to protect home plate. And then if there is a hit, like you have your first line of defense, which is your infield, your second line of defense is outfield, and everybody has a role in everything, and definitely had taken that aspect of growing up with the team sports and everything, and definitely applied it in the workforce here. So yeah, everybody is important. Everybody has their place as part of what we do here.
I love it. I love it. Uh, Manufacturing has historically been a little bit tougher of a space for women. Uh,
Right.
Modern manufacturing. I think that during World War II, our manufacturing industry was powered by women, right? But in the last, I'd say 40 years, it's a tough space for women. Have you had a moment where you felt the need to prove yourself?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's I would say unfortunately it seems like with the it just starts at the application. It's like, this might not be the person we're looking for, and they make the judgment before they even see the person.
Yeah,
As far as like with trying to get in machining, I try to put everything that would show that I have worked with tools. So like with auto body or anything with an example like that. So it's like, yeah, I definitely try to prove on paper that you're good enough. And then when you show up, I'm not that tall. I am only like 5'4", and like I'm just this tiny person. And then first showing up over at Sandvik over in Washington, we do titanium tubing. We're lugging around carts of 1,300 pounds, and we were working with cranes. And then you see this tiny little person, like, yeah, about that. So, I mean, yeah, definitely having the interview and everything. And I was just like, no, I can definitely like do the work and like just give me the task and prove that I can do it. If I can't, then okay, we know that I can't do that. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Just at least give me the chance to prove myself. And
yeah,
yeah, it was definitely my in a sense of working in auto body before that. I'm familiar with tools and understanding the safety in the environment as to working in a workshop area with potentially dangerous tools. So
yeah. Absolutely. So what advice would you have for a young woman or really anyone else who doesn't feel like they're a fit in this industry? What would your advice be for them if they were listening right now?
yeah, as of right now, I mean, definitely the interest of going into the manufacturing. Um, how can I put it? No, definitely like one, challenge yourself. There's always going to be a challenge as soon as you get into a new industry or something new, a new job. Either it is retail or manufacturing, but
Mm,
we definitely have the interest into what we're doing and having our hands on in these machines. Definitely ask the questions, lots of questions. Like there's a lot of learning that has to be going on and to really understand the job and your role as to where you're going into. And the more questions you ask, the more better understanding that you have of what you're doing. So it's just the same thing I tell my trainers is like, hey, if there's something you don't understand, that like I'm going to tell you right now, there's no such thing as a stupid question to me. It's just like
mm,
you're trying to ask, you're trying to get better understanding of how things work and what we do here.
yeah.
So, yeah, it will be a little bit awkward at first. And like when I first went into Westminster, I do feel a little awkward. I was a little intimidated, but it's just like, okay, well, what does this do? What does this button do? It's just like definitely get into it. And
Yeah,
like if yeah, and then you learn and you grow to love what you're doing and have a little bit of pride in what we do here. So
I love it. I love it. Um, What excites you most about the future of the industry?
The industry, honestly, with the new technology and everything else. I mean, the AI and the robot stuff kind of like scare me. I'm already working with the robot. I'm not sure if it's going to try to come out and punch through the glass sometimes. But no, I am very excited to see how our work goes into, with everyday life, and on top of like big aerospace stuff that we're doing. And yeah, we do work with a lot with like Boeing and SpaceX with stuff,
Mhm.
and like really providing the tools for them to build their spaceships. I'm just really excited to see how using our tools and equipment to pretty much explore the stars or even the depths of our oceans. And it's just really exciting to be able to help make that happen.
Oh, that could be your mic drop moment of the day. That was a great quote right there. Thanks for that. Um, you, you talked about a little bit about robotics, AI, etc. Um, it's a big push forward for digital transformations, but we are such an industry filled with craftspeople, right? Like you make
Right.
something very tangible, and people who choose these careers choose them because they enjoy that tinkering. They enjoy being able to stand back at the end of the day and say, I made that. So what's your take on the digital transformation? Do you think that it will ever fully take over the job of a machinist, or will we always need to have that human element that is proud of the craft in itself?
No, I think we'll always have that human element because, I mean, we may have machines, we have automatic machines that will do things, but over time, like things will fault out or, wear down and it has to get replaced. And yes, we can have a robot kind of step in and do all that, but I don't know, there's part of the human aspect to where we can sit back and just be like, that doesn't seem right. And then
Yeah,
we have all the calculations from a computer be like trying to solve everything, but it's very mathematical and stuff. But sometimes it was just almost have to have that aesthetic to kind of look at things. It's like geometry that something seems a little bit off.
yeah, I get that. If there's one thing that you could change about the culture within manufacturing, what would it be?
Change the culture. Well, I think unfortunately it seems like a lot of places in my career where I witness is a lot less team. It's more of we have more bosses than we have leaders. And yes, you may be in charge with a whole group of people and everything, but definitely role models. We like a lot of that. It's like we are very much humans that we have the tendency of following what the person in front of us is doing.
Yeah,
And we'll make some adaptations and everything and trying to make these changes to have us thrive and success and everything. But no, I think it's just we almost tend to not listen as to what could be going on, and of course we have management. We have more of a attention to like they know what's going on and everything else, but they may not even be out on the floor. And
yeah,
with our team, definitely our management, they're on the floor. They're on the floor every single day. They're seeing what's going on and getting a better idea of how the flow is or what changes that need to be made. And I see in other areas or other places I have worked at where they don't even know what's going on, and then they're like, "Hey, we're going to have to make a change here, there, and this," and pretty much uplift everything in our process. And I want to say they don't understand the process, but they're changing the entire process, thinking that these things are not working without seeing them for themselves.
yeah. I love that. Um, Stephanie, what haven't I asked you that you want to share with the audience?
Um, I really cannot think of anything.
I love that. That means I did my job and I did it
You
well.
did
I
your
mean,
job, but I
if
mean,
there's
there's
nothing left for you to say, then I have rocked my job for today.
right. It's just like everything that goes on over at the plant, it's just there's so much going on. There's a lot of moving parts and everything, and like unless asked kind of specifically, I'll be like, no, I'm pretty much at my end here. But yeah, there's definitely a lot going on, and but no, I think you asked a lot of excellent questions and everything
Awesome.
I can answer it with. So
Thank you. That
yeah.
that made my day hearing that. So thank you very much, Stephanie. If somebody is listening to this and young person, mid-career change person interested in getting into this trade, doesn't know where to start, how can somebody get a hold of you? I mean, I just found your LinkedIn profile this morning. Is that the best place for people to get a hold of you, or where should people try and find you?
Yes, we could try LinkedIn, and I'll be honest, it's a little bit new to me, and I'm not really a big social media person, but it's just yeah, I'll definitely get a little more involved with all that, and yeah, either try to get a hold of me on there or Instagram. I'm definitely on Instagram and looking at a lot of manufacturing stuff. I do follow ANCA and Boeing and SpaceX and looking at projects, and yeah, so yeah, definitely Instagram or LinkedIn. I'll try to learn.
Awesome.
I'll try to learn.
All right, make sure to look out for a Manufacturing Culture podcast following you on Instagram. I'll make that happen today, because if you're yeah, I just think you're a really awesome human being, and I want to know what you're up to. So, folks, this has been an awesome conversation. It's a little bit shorter than a lot of the conversations, but that's because we loaded literally 10 pounds of awesome into a 2-pound sack. So it's not because this was any lighter than normal. It's because we just got to the heart of the matter. And Stephanie's journey is awesome. Like just a cool human being. And to me, she's proof that leadership isn't about titles. It's about action, and it's about knowing how to develop that team that she is leading. From tripling the size of her team to pushing the limits of precision in machining parts. Her story is really kind of a masterclass in problem solving and resilience, and what it takes to build that culture of excellence. Stephanie, thank you very, very much for being an awesome human being, for sharing your story, your insights, and most importantly, your passion for this work. Because it's people like you sharing their story, sharing this passion that will get that next generation interested in these roles. It's what will get manufacturing into mainstream, right? We a lot of my episodes are listened to people inside this industry, right? We've got to start creating episodes and content that transcends outside of just the echo chamber that is manufacturing and industry, to get people more interested in this. And I think your story does exactly that. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. You guys are awesome. You've been with me now for 100+ episodes. A lot of you, if you've just found the show, I'm really happy that you're here, and I hope you keep tuning in. And if you found this episode inspiring, if you liked hearing Stephanie's story and you think other people should hear this story, which, let's be honest, everybody should hear this story, send it to your friends, send it to your colleagues, send it to your grandma. Your grandma would love to hear Stephanie's story, so send it to your grandma. Send it to anybody who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, head over to themfgconnector.com, explore more episodes, resources, articles, and everything else that we're doing to build a stronger, more connected manufacturing community. And while you're at it, also connect with us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And the biggest ask I have for you, my dear listeners, is if you're loving this show, if this episode or any of our other episodes are what you love the most, please take a moment to rate and review the show on whatever platform you're listening or watching us on today. It rockets us up the charts every time you like and review or rate and review the show. Because there's some funky algorithm that I don't know enough about that makes us more visible to people the more other people like or rate and review the show. So thank you for doing that. We've got more amazing guests coming up over the next couple of months. I'm right now, this is March. I'm booked all the way through October at this point, which is wild. And some really cool conversations are coming up. So hit the subscribe button. Make sure you stay with us for all these fun episodes. Until next time, keep leading, keep building, and keep shaping the future of manufacturing. I'll see you on the next episode.